This is conducir, to drive, sentences in the preterite. Now let me say right at the start, if you don't know the forms of conducir, to drive, in the preterite, you might want to check my clip labeled conducir preterite forms. And let me tell you, this verb is a part of a group of verbs I call train wreck verbs. Nobody else calls them train wreck verbs, but I do. They're very, very regular, very tricky, and there are 13 different train wreck verbs. So if you're confused by that, you might type in train wreck verbs and see how I explain that. All right, I'm going to say each of these sentences in English, then Spanish, and clap. And after I clap, I'd like you to repeat just the Spanish sentence with me, okay? Number 1, our neighbor drove to the store. Nuestro vecino condujo a la tienda. Nuestro vecino condujo a la tienda. Number 2, you drove to the beach. Tú condujiste a la playa. Tú condujiste a la playa. Number 3, I drove to the bank. Yo conduje al banco. Yo conduje al banco. And finally, number 4, we drove to the hospital. Nosotros condujimos al hospital. Nosotros condujimos al hospital. Now, nuestro is our. If you're confused by that, type in our, and I've got a nice clip explaining the different forms of nuestro and how that works. Now, how are we going to remember that vecino is neighbor? Well, let me say vicinity. Vicinity. A neighbor is someone who lives in the vicinity of your house. So, vecino's neighbor, neighbor's vecino. Now, tienda, store. Okay, I wear a lot of silly ties to school, and students always ask me, hey, Mr. Holt, where'd you get that tie? And I say, I bought the tie in the store at the mall. Everybody, I bought the tie in the store at the mall. So, tienda, store. Also, some people, when they go to the store, have a tendency to spend too much money. Get it? Store, tienda, tendency. All right. Number 2, you drove to the beach. Now, playa's beach. I like to play at a beach, or I like to play volleyball at a beach, or I like to play with my friends at a beach. Playa's beach. And obviously, a means to. Okay? Now, I drove to the bank is yo conduje al banco. Now, Mr. Holt, the word for to is a, and the word for the in front of banco is el, so why isn't it a-l? Now, we've mentioned that Spanish is based on speed, okay? A lot of strange things that happen in Spanish. Why do they do that? As answered with, well, Spanish is based on speed. Try to say a-l, a-l, a-l 3 times real fast. A-l, a-l, a-l. In Spanish, anytime you have the letter A followed by L, it turns into al. Now say al, al, al. Al, al, al. And some of you are thinking, I've never seen that before. Actually, you have. In Spanish, you don't say yo juego a el football. What does a-el turn into? Al. So it's yo juego al football. And notice that banco is spelled with a C. In English, it's K. Is it letter K? But in Spanish, it's a C. What 2 letters do not exist in Spanish? K and W. Okay? So a lot of times, if an English word has a K, a lot of times the Spanish version of it has a C. Now, we drove to the hospital. Notice, the word for to is a, and the word for the in front of hospital is el, but it's not condujimos a el. Again, what does a el turn into? Al. And notice, it's not pronounced hospital, it's pronounced hospital. What is the only silent letter in Spanish? H. And notice, since the last letter of hospital is L, it's what I call a lizard word. And remember, for lizard words, if it ends in L, Z, R, or D, the very last vowel gets stressed. If you're confused by that, type in lizard, and I've got a little clip explaining what I call lizard words. All right, this has been conducir, to drive, preterite sentences.